First and foremost, before I get started with my lesson, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem HaKadosh. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. Salutations and blessings to the Akim that do this work in truth and sincerity. And the topic of the lesson I want to get into is delayed gratification. All right, delayed gratification. All right, and I'm going to get the Google definition, all right, of what that word is. All right. All right, delayed gratification. It says, delayed gratification is the ability to resist an immediate reward in favor of a more valuable and satisfying reward in the future. This self-controlling skill involves foregoing short-term pleasures, all right, for achieving long-term goals, all right, such as saving money for a house or studying for an exam instead of watching TV. Delaying gratification can lead to better academic performance, improve health, financial stability, and enhance overall well-being. You see? So delayed gratification, all right, which we are, enduring and practicing in through the Spirit, all right, of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, because we're long-suffering, all right, we're willing to suffer, all right, for this present time, all right, to receive a greater reward. Okay, let me get this real quick. All right, this is Psalms 37:7. Rest in the Lord and wait patiently for him. Fright not thyself because of him who prospereth in his way. So, Esau, he prospered in this way. All right, we see that he has basically the dew of the earth. All right, he has the riches. All right, he has the so-called wealth. All right, the land. All right, he's ruling. All right, he's in his dominion. He's on top. All right, but we are to let that all right, basically get that in the way of us following our purpose. All right, which is the kingdom. All right, not being tempted and falling into, all right, the cares of this world. All right, we're able to, basically put off the flesh and be able to wait, all right, our turn until the Lord comes back and, basically give us a reward. All right, as the scriptures say, all right, the things that are seen are temporal, but the things that are not seen, all right, are everlasting. All right, let me get this other one real quick. Okay, this is Sirach chapter 9, verse 11. Envy not the glory of a sinner, all right, for thou knowest not what his end shall be. And that's Esau, that's the other nations, all right, and that's 2/3 of our own people, all right. Envy not the glory of a sinner, because it seems like, all right, they're being blessed, or that they are blessed, all right, and that they're receiving everything that they can ever wish for. They're having a good time, all right, living it up, all right, enjoying themselves. But what we're suffering, all right, but we're suffering for a cause, all right, and them, all right, they are living in sin, that's living in pleasure, all right, they know not when their end is going to be, all right, as the scriptures say, all right, the judgment of the Lord shall come as a thief in the night, all right, upon those, all right, that are living ungodly lives, all right. So that's why the scripture says, again, Sirach chapter 9, verse 11, envy not the glory of a sinner, for thou knowest not what shall be his end. He don't know what his end going to be or when it's going to be. All right. Shalakia. So yeah, he knows not when his end going to be. All right. And he knows not what his end is going to be. He don't know when he's going to die or how he's going to die, man. But judgment is going to, all right, quickly come upon them. All right. So let's get to this other one. All right. This is Sirach chapter 7, verse 7. It says, surely oppression maketh the wise man mad, and the gift destroyeth the heart. Better is the end of a thing than the beginning thereof. And the patience in the spirit is better than the proud in the spirit. So, everybody, they're very prideful because of the things that they have. All right, whether it be money, whether it be, the land, any, all right, materialistic thing on this side. All right, they're boastful and proud in it. All right, when the scriptures tell us that he that forsaketh all these things, all right, the Lord is gonna what? Give him, a hundredfold, man. So it's just that we have to continue to endure. All right, it's easier said, all right, than done. But his elect, the Lord's elect, all right, are gonna fall through, all right, on these words, man. All right, they're gonna uphold them. They're gonna be able to endure and make it to the end. All right, they're gonna be able to put off the flesh and put off this world. All right, this microwave materialistic, superficial BS. All right, let's go here to Ecclesiastes chapter 7, verse 7. All right, again, it says, surely oppression make a wise man mad, and the gift destroyeth the heart. And better is the end of a thing than the beginning thereof. And the patience in the spirit is better than the proud in the spirit, because better is the end of Esau's kingdom, all right, than, the beginning of it. All right, better is the end of a sinful, prideful, lustful, all right, God-forsaken kingdom, all right, than the beginning of it, man. All right, we're seeking, all right, a kingdom of righteousness. All right, where righteousness dwells, as the scriptures say. All right, let me jump down to this one real quick. All right. This is Hebrews chapter 10, verse 36. It says, for ye have need of patience, that after ye have done the will of Yahweh, ye may receive the promise. So that's what we basically enduring for. All right, that's what we're enduring, basically the delayed gratification for. All right, which is, again, I'm going to read that again real quick. Delayed gratification is the ability to resist immediate reward in favor of a more valuable and satisfying reward, all right, in the future. All right, and that's being able to sacrifice certain things in the world for the truth's sake. All right, whether that be money, family, all right, so-called friends, social status in the world, all right, all of those things, all right, putting off those things for the sake of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, and knowing, all right, that the Lord is going to reward us with something far more greater than what we can see, hear, or ever imagine. As the scripture says, all right, eyes have not seen, nor ears have heard of the things that the Lord has in store for his elect. All right, we can't even fathom to come to imagination of how it's going to be for us in the kingdom. All right, it's far going to exceed anything that we can ever think of. All right, so, we are to continue to endure, all right, this fiery trial, man. Okay, let's see here. All right, because this requires patience, man. In a world that, they basically, everything is microwave, fast paced, I want it now. That's how society has, all right, geared up the people to be. And that's the reason why, all right, when these things are taken away abruptly and will be taken away from them, all right, there's going to be so much chaos and turmoil, because, all right, the people have been pacified, all right, to the point to where, all right, they're going to basically catch a temper tantrum, as they say. All right, they're gonna catch a temper tantrum, which is gonna turn into, all right, civil unrest. All right, because why? They can't wait. All right, we already seen examples of, all right, these people on Black Friday. All right, whenever some of these fast food restaurants, they be having certain of these special going on. Popeyes is a great example. Chicken sandwiches and or fast food lines. These people lose their mind. Road rage. Okay, they're very impulsive and unable to patiently wait for anything. So when that time comes when the Lord, all right, strips everything and strips everybody of everything, all right, through this guy Esau, all right, they're gonna lose their mind. All right, they're gonna lose it. All right. So that's definitely something, all right, to take into mind, man. All right, let me get this real quick. All right, this is Luke 21:19. It says, "In your patience possess ye your souls." So in our patience possess ye our souls, man. We're patiently waiting for the Lord, all right, to give us that reward, to give us that gratification. All right, because we in the age of information, and a lot of information, all right, that has been talked about over the last few years, that exposes a lot of Esau's underhanded mischief, all right, is being exposed. And the apostles and the elders have been speaking about these things for years, all right. But guess what? All right, they haven't gotten the credit for these things, but it's going to come a time to where they will, all right, they will receive it. They're going to get that praise, all right, as the scriptures say, all right, I will give you, all right, praise and fame in the land where you will put to shame. So in due time, all right, the Lord is going to exalt his men. All right. Brothers have been going into that as well. All right, how the Lord is going to show that we've had the truth all along. All right. So, but I think that's pretty much the point, all right, of the lesson. All right, Lord willing, it was edifying and to the point. All right. Again, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Mekakadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. Salutations and blessings to the Akim that do this work in truth and sincerity. Until the next time, Lord willing, I say Shalom.